If you want beautiful flowers, healthy green leaves, and proof that your plant parenting actually means something, then listen closely, because growing orchids isn't just about buying every shiny bottle the garden store throws at you. Sure, those products can help, but the real difference comes from something way less expensive: your ability to actually look at the plant in front of you. Orchids are not silent decorations. They're constantly telling you what they need. You just have to learn how to read the signs. Because here's the thing about orchids. These plants have been surviving in the wild long before humans figured out how to put fertilizer in a fancy plastic bottle. In nature, they deal with rainwater, decomposing leaves, bird droppings, random tree bark, and whatever nutrients the forest decides to throw at them that day. For the first ingredient, I hope you've got some used coffee grounds sitting around, because that's exactly what we're about to weaponize for your orchid. And if you don't, relax. This isn't some rare boss drop. Just walk into any coffee shop down the street and ask for their leftover grounds. They produce so much of that stuff daily, it's basically a side quest reward they're trying to get rid of. Because here's what most people don't realize. Those scraps are actually packed with organic material that breaks down over time and feeds your plant in a much more natural way. We're talking slow-release nutrients, improved moisture retention, and a better environment for root activity. Not instant results, but the kind that actually stick around. All you need now is a bit of hot water, just enough to wake those coffee grounds up and get everything moving. Not boiling it into oblivion. We're not making revenge espresso here. Just warm enough to activate what's inside and let it release all that good organic material. Next up, we're bringing in a banana, and no, not for a snack break. Because the real value here isn't the fruit, it's the skin. Yeah, the part most people throw away without a second thought. Turns out that trash is carrying more plant-friendly nutrients than you'd expect. So grab that peel and cut it into smaller pieces while we talk. Because what you're holding is basically a slow-release bundle of potassium, a bit of phosphorus, and other trace elements your orchid can actually use over time. Not instant miracle growth, but steady support where it counts. As those pieces break down, they gradually release nutrients into the mix, helping support root function, overall plant strength, and eventually better blooms. It's not flashy, it's not some neon-colored liquid in a bottle, but it works with the plant instead of overwhelming it. Now here's where people mess it up. Do not throw everything into the same container like you're making some kind of botanical soup. Separate them. Coffee in one, banana peel in another. Trust the process. It might look unnecessary right now, but there's a reason we're not letting them mix just yet. Because each ingredient breaks down at a different rate. Coffee releases fast. Banana peel takes its sweet time. If you combine them too early, you end up with an unbalanced mess where one thing dominates and the other barely gets to do its job. After about 10 minutes, now we move. You're going to want to strain everything out, and we start with the coffee first because this one is about to get an upgrade. Get that liquid separated nice and clean. No chunky chaos, just the solution. And now, the final ingredient enters the arena. Vitamin B1. 3 tablets, straight in. Yeah, we just went from kitchen scraps to low-budget lab experiment real quick. Because vitamin B1, also known as thiamine, is commonly used to support root recovery and reduce transplant stress in plants. It's not some magical, instant bloom cheat code, but it helps your orchid handle stress better and focus on rebuilding strong roots instead of panicking like it just got thrown into a boss fight. Now, we don't just dump this on the plant like we're watering a rice field. We apply it with precision. First step, grab a spray bottle, and we're going to mist it around the plant. Controlled, targeted, like you actually know what you're doing. Light sprays, not a tropical storm. Focus around the root zone, the surface of the potting medium, and a gentle pass over the leaves. Just enough to coat, not enough to drown. If your orchid looks like it just survived a monsoon, you've gone too far. Because at this stage, we're not force-feeding nutrients, we're introducing them. Orchids absorb moisture and dissolve compounds not just through roots, but also through their aerial roots and leaf surfaces. Which means misting gives you a wider, more efficient delivery system without stressing the plant. And remember, orchids in the wild don't get blasted with concentrated solutions. They get humidity, light rain, mist, and slow exposure over time. We're mimicking that natural environment, not replacing it with chaos. So take your time, move the spray evenly, let the droplets settle, let the plant breathe between passes. This isn't a speed run, it's controlled support. Do it right. And what you're giving your orchid isn't just moisture. It's a steady, manageable intake of nutrients that helps roots recover, encourages healthier growth, and builds resilience over time. Remember that banana peel we set aside earlier? Yeah, it's finally time to bring it back into the story. Go ahead and strain that mixture out. And this time, don't keep it separate. Pour it straight into the coffee solution. This is where everything starts to come together, because now you're combining fast-acting nutrients from the coffee with the slower, steady release from the banana peel. One works quick, the other plays the long game. And together, they create a more balanced mix instead of one overpowering the other. What you've got at this point isn't just random kitchen leftovers anymore. It's a layered solution. Different sources, different release speeds, all working together to support root health, nutrient uptake, and overall plant stability. And now, the final step. We take everything we just built and actually deliver it where it matters most. The base of the plant. Pour the solution slowly around the root zone. Not a flood, not a panic dump. Controlled, steady application. Let the medium absorb it. Let the roots take it in naturally. This is where all that preparation finally pays off. Because at this stage, you're no longer just misting for surface support. You're feeding the root system directly, giving it access to a balanced mix of nutrients, moisture, and support compounds that help it recover, strengthen, and actually function the way it's supposed to. And remember, orchids hate sitting in soggy conditions. So give it enough to soak through the medium, then stop. No swamp creation, no drowning the roots. We're building strength, not testing survival mechanics. What you've done here, from coffee scraps, banana peel, and a few tablets, is create a simple, layered system that supports your orchid from the outside in and the inside out. It's not flashy, it's not branded, it's not screaming miracle formula on a plastic bottle, but it works with the plant, not against it. Do this consistently. And over time, you'll start seeing the difference where it actually matters. Stronger roots, healthier leaves, and blooms that don't just survive. They show up like they've got something to prove. But after everything, we're not leaving the plant sitting there like it just got flooded in a disaster movie. Orchids don't do swamp life. They do airflow, drainage, and just enough moisture to function without suffocating. So once you've watered, let it drain properly. No water pooling at the bottom. No roots sitting there marinating like it's a bad decision waiting to happen. What we want is moist, not drenched, not dripping, not I can hear the water sloshing levels of hydration. Because here's the trap. Even the best solution, the most perfectly balanced mix you just crafted, if you overdo it, congratulations, you've just launched your plant straight to the opposite extreme. Nutrient overload, root rot, oxygen deprivation. It goes from healthy support to system failure real fast. Orchids need that balance. Moisture and air. You take one away, the whole system starts falling apart. So keep it controlled, water, let it pass through, and then leave the plant in a state where it can breathe. That's how you turn a good solution into actual results. Not by force, but by knowing when to stop. And after 2 months of consistent care, this right here is the result of everything you just did. Take a look. Full, glossy leaves spreading wide like they actually have something to show off. Roots gripping and anchoring with confidence. And those blooms? Yeah, those aren't shy. You've got vibrant yellows, rich pinks, soft gradients blending across the petals. Each flower sitting clean, upright, and structured like it knows it made it. No wrinkled leaves, no dull color, no I'm barely surviving energy. This is a plant that's stable, fed, and fully locked in. Look closer. The leaves are thick and smooth, no dehydration lines, no limp posture. That's proper hydration and nutrient balance over time. The spikes are holding multiple blooms without collapsing, which means the plant has enough stored energy to actually sustain them, not just push them out as a last resort. And the roots, visible, active, not rotting, not shriveled, doing exactly what they're supposed to do in a well-managed environment. That's the part people don't see at first glance, but it's the reason everything above the pot looks this good. This isn't luck. This is consistency. Simple ingredients, controlled application, and actually paying attention to what the plant needs instead of guessing. What started as scraps, water, and a bit of patience turn into this. Healthy structure, strong growth, and blooms that don't just exist, they perform. And just like that, that's everything for today's video. From random kitchen scraps to a full-on orchid glow-up. Not bad for something people usually throw away without a second thought. Now, if you made it this far, chances are you didn't just watch. You learned something your plants are definitely going to benefit from. So here's the deal. If this helped you, or if you want to see more ways to turn simple stuff into real results, go ahead and hit that like button. And if you're trying to level up your plant game without turning your wallet into a victim, consider subscribing, because we're not just growing orchids here. We're building systems that actually work over time. Stick around. There's a lot more coming, and trust me, your plants will notice the difference before you do.